When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier. For 65 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley. Here with Greg Hansen. GH, look in the news this week. A handful of football stadiums and basketball arenas have sold their naming rights. It's only a matter of time, I think, before Arizona does the same.
If they can get the money from somebody.
Right.
New Mexico's basketball and football facilities will now be called Dream Style.
Okay.
After a remodeling construction firm in Albuquerque.
That is the most confusing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So your football stadium and your basketball arena are going to be named the same thing.
There might be a secondary name like Dream Style Pit,
right,
as you suggested.
Right.
But it's only $10 million for 10 years. That's not enough, is it?
No. I'll tell you what, Greg, I'm still calling it Wise Pies Arena,
yeah.
which was the worst name in sports. So maybe Dream Style's a little bit better. But I mean, even at Kentucky sold their naming rights to their football stadium this week too. Memorial Stadium is now Kroger Stadium,
yeah,
I believe.
Grocery firm.
Grocery firm. There's some of those in the Pac-12, but the league seems a little bit behind the times in terms of they haven't sold out as much as maybe some other leagues.
Only Oregon State's changed the name of their football stadium
to
Reeser, which is a grocery store chain in Oregon. No other football stadium has changed. I take that back. Utah.
Yeah.
I was working there the day it happened. I was first year in the newspaper business in Salt Lake City. They changed the name of their football stadium to Rice Stadium because a fitness guru from the 70s gave him $100,000.
Wow. And
his name is still on it.
Wow, now it's Rice-Eccles Stadium. And I mean, in basketball, it's a little bit more common. We see Alaska Airlines Arena, or now American Airlines Arena. I believe in Seattle, the Sun Devils play at Wells Fargo Arena. That seems more common. Football stadiums are sort of the sacred cows here, though, which is funny because I think that that's the one name that could be bought at Arizona Stadium.
About 15 years ago, when Chris Del Conte was the associate AD, really good one, he had a preliminary deal with Casino del Sol and the Tohono O'odhams to put their name on the field, whatever name they chose, at Arizona Stadium, and it didn't happen. It broke down.
That would have been good.
It was all about how much money could he get from them.
Right. It would have sounded good, I'm telling you. Estadio del Sol, Stadium of the Sun, it sounds good. And I remember there was a time, too, where they didn't advertise with the word casino in it on campus, so it just said Del Sol. Even Del Sol Stadium would have been okay.
The time is coming now, don't you think?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, they've passed a student fee that is going to wring money out of the students. It would be morally wrong to not try everything possible to get a dime out of every possible thing at Arizona Stadium to pay for it. If you're going to make students pay on top of their tuition to renovate your football stadium, you darn right better sell the name to it.
I mean, 2017 now, check back in 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if 5 Pac-12 football stadiums have commercial names.
Sure. Is there a difference in your mind, not ethically or maybe just, I don't know, between naming a stadium after a company and naming it after a donor? I mean, we look on campus, Hillenbrand Stadium is named after basically rich donors.
Yeah.
And it's like the Hillenbrand Aquatic Center, same thing. Is there a difference between naming it after a donor and a company?
I don't think so.
No?
You know, history is slow to change on this. Almost every Pac-12 stadium, not everyone, Martin Stadium at Washington State, still Martin Stadium. Pollack Pavilion at 50 years old now, UCLA basketball. McHale Center. Would they ever have enough courage to change the name of McHale Center to Wells Fargo?
I'll tell you what, I think it just all depends on how much money.
Right.
I mean, we could sit here and say all day they never change it to McHale Center. But if Bank of America or Chase showed up one day with $50 million, I mean, the Arizona Athletic Department's not going to say no to that amount of money.
McHale Center gets its name in the public so often, I think a corporate group might be enticed by that. Arizona Stadium doesn't. With 6 games a year. So McHale would be the one where Dave Hickey could probably go out and pursue $30 million.
And could you call it something like Bank of America McHale Center.
Yeah, sure. That's probably what they would try too.
Right, try to call it all of that. And then locals would just call it McHale, and people who didn't know would call it Bank of America.
Hey, the ribbon came off when Cal named its football field Kabam Field.
That's right, that's right.
Kabam.
And this is an academic institution par excellence in the world of schools, and it's Kabam Field. How often? We had to look it up, by the way, before. I mean, we don't know Kabam Field. So what's it worth?
It's $18 million for 10 years, right?
Yeah, $18 million for 10 years. It's a lot of money to spend for even guys like us who are paid to care. Couldn't even come up with a name.
One thing we are fortunate about in Tucson as it pertains to U of A stadiums, there's no dream-style remodeling firm here. Willing to give Arizona what it wants to put its name up there.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Hughes FCU Stadium.
FCU, yeah, that'll work.
Hughes FCU Stadium. Think about that, friends at Hughes. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.